Welcome, one and all, to another episode of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
It's just us two tonight, and we're going to chat about the latest releases from Danko Jones, Jinjer, and Frozen Tears, a local band. We'll have a couple of new things coming up as well. We're going to bring back the Hard Rock Happenings, which is something we used to do a long, long time ago. And we're going to also play a little game of Overrated, Underrated, which is something we haven't really done before, but we're going to have some have some fun with this one tonight. I already got some comments, so good to see you all here. What do we got? So yeah, as always, details, links, everything you need to know to follow, like, subscribe, all the usual things, comment, share, all this sort of stuff you can do to help us out. Just follow us, like, and all sorts of stuff. Everything you need for that is in the description or the post for this one, wherever you're tuning in from. And also check out our sponsors while you're there. A big thank you to Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their links are in there, so please do find them, give them a follow, show them some love for the help they give us here at the show. I'll get to some comments quickly here. So Sally's going, hey guys, so good to see you here, Sally. Nice to have you with us once again. Macca McKinnon is tagging someone else, but it's good to have Macca here as well with us. Keith from Autism, good to see you here again, as well as Dean, another regular.
Hey,
I think we both had a good weekend, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So make sure, get in the comments, give us your thoughts as we go along. We do like having the interaction. We'll pull it up on screen wherever we can and engage with you. But anyway, before we get stuck into things, Dave, how has your week been? Or weekend, in particular?
Doing the usual. Can't go anywhere, but kids are happy, wife's happy, I'm happy. Watched a Thin Lizzy documentary the other night, new one that's just come out. It's called Songs for While I'm Away. Went right over Phil Lynot's childhood, so hence wearing the t-shirt.
Yep.
So really, I'm a big Thin Lizzy fan, so getting to see a little bit more about his childhood, growing up, and family, and going through the different stages of the band all the way until the end. So really well done. And that, watched some wrestling, and had a barbecue today, and all the good things. Up for that, good spirits, all good. How you been, man?
Yeah, good. Same old. Just keep on keeping on. Nothing's really changed. It's just another week, another grind, another period of time in the blur that is another lockdown. Hopefully, we'll get to sort of look at Christmas and go, hopefully we'll have to, be able to spend time with family then. But it was my dad's birthday today, so happy birthday to the old man. Not that he'll watch this, he never watches anything that I do, but not really his cup of tea. But a big happy birthday to him anyway. He's had a good day, obviously, and we had a good Zoom session with him earlier today where all of us got involved, my siblings and nephews, nieces, kids, and all sorts of stuff and jumped in there. So it was a lot of fun. A few laughs I had there, which was good. But yeah, that's the only really big event. The rest of the time has been, working or editing and doing everything else that needs to be done for what we do here and making reviews and all sort of stuff. But yeah, it's all been good. Can't complain really at the end of the day. I know it's not a good time all around, but we are veterans at this now, so we've just got to just bunker down and get on with it, and that's all we can do. So hopefully we can entertain some people out there and give them a bit of levity to brighten things up with a few different changes to how we're doing things. Another regular, Nudes. Hi, guys. So good to have you here, Nudes. Thanks for joining us. Ben's jumped in saying Diamond Dave, great THRS member. It's funny that Diamond Dave gets me here because our next special episode is going to be Van Halen Revisited, so that'll be fun as well.
Flamboyant.
Murray. Okay, although she only had one eye, she always kept an eye out for me. Where are you, Connie? So that's from Steve Rockwell Murray there. So we got some interesting comments coming through. Keep them coming. Keith asked you, Dave, where did you watch the Thin Lizzy doco? What was that on?
Mate actually burned a copy of it on the DVD for me.
All right, what was the name of it again?
Songs for While I'm Away.
Okay.
It's really hard to obtain. If you want to send me a private message, I might be able to try and hook you up.
All right. There we go.
Yeah.
There you go, Keith. I'm pretty sure you're connected on Facebook anyway, you two, so that'll be all right. If not, I'll be intermediary. It'll be all right. David has gone, g'day, Dave and Andrew. So good to have you here with us. Keep saying hello, people. Keep jumping in. Let's have some fun. Let's get into the we're bringing this back. Excuse me. The Hard Rock Happenings was a thing we used to do years and years and years ago. We sort of brought it in and then dropped it again over the years, but it seems like this format really leans into it. This is where we just sort of pick 2 or 3 sort of recent events in the rock and metal world to just have a quick little chat about, just because we always get them brought up in the comments anyway. So I figured, why not just get involved and have some fun with it? So the first one we're going to get out of the way here, which was already brought up by Dean, who said, rest in peace, Charlie Watts, massive influence on myself. And yes, I've no doubt that's the case, knowing you. So yeah, we have to acknowledge the passing of Charlie Watts, the great drummer for the Rolling Stones, who has one hell of a legacy left behind. And I loved seeing all the quotes kicking around about how he was going, "I'm the drummer, you're my singer." That kind of
that's an awesome story.
Cool. Yeah, that's an awesome one. But I'm not the world's. I appreciate, like, respect, all those things, but I'm not really as big into the band as you are, Dave. You're a big fan in the conversation we've had behind the scenes since.
Yeah.
So what does this sort of mean to you, being a big fan of the band?
Yeah, it was probably the early 2000s where I started to explore back catalogs a lot more, and I'd always known about the Stones even before I was aware of music. I think they've been around for so long, you can't help but have heard a Stone song on the radio. But I started to realize that, hey, this song's actually pretty cool. I wonder what albums that's off, and you do a bit of exploring. And when you hear of the passing of Charlie Watts, we knew they were getting older, but they always thought they were indestructible, because no one said the Stones are going to keep rolling. Keith Richards is going to outlive us all.
Yeah.
And then, Charlie's the first one to go. He was always probably the stable guy. He wasn't the controversial one like Keith Richards, and he wasn't the flamboyant, outgoing womanizer like Mick Jagger. He was just always the steady guy. And his contribution to the songs, it was always just, he had that backdrop that you could always rely on, where the rest of the band could do their thing, but you always had that glue. And he probably didn't write all that many songs, but he was always there. So it's probably, they say at the heart of the Stones, and that's probably a good way of summing him up. But they've been through
from start to finish, wasn't he? He didn't leave the band at all, did he?
Nah, he was just like, he was always there. So it's the first of the Stones since I became a fan for them to go, and it was a bit sad. But they've been around for so long. They've got so many different styles and eras and great albums that me and Julia are both big fans. She's got a great collection on vinyl, and I've got them on CD. And the Aftermath album has been a massive debate between us for our entire relationship. She likes the UK version, I like the American version, and it's fun. But they've been such a great band, so to see one of them go, the heroes and the classics are getting older. It's really sad.
Yeah, I think that's what this all sort of boils down to. We're watching a lot of the icons that we've had over the years pass on now, and we're just looking for the next ones to come up, and it's a bit harder to do now than it was before, and all that sort of stuff. But it's like I said, I'm not going to sit here and wax lyrical about an artist that I don't know a heap about, but at the same time, you've got to admire and respect the body of work that they put together. They were a band he was in the band for well over 50 years. We're going to do a review of an album on Thursday. We're going to talk about Sticky Fingers on Thursday, which will be a bit of fun for us. I haven't really covered much of the Stones on the show before. It was funny because it was only a little while ago we were chatting behind the scenes. I'm not sure if you were there, but I think you were. But we were chatting about the different episodes we haven't done specials on when it came to things like the Stones, the Beatles, and the battle episode between those two and all that sort of stuff. We were only literally talking about this a matter of weeks ago, and then you find out events like this sort of come up and put a few things in perspective too. But at the same time, fuck me, what a legacy! Jesus, that's a huge influence on not only music but just culture in general and stuff. So it's I guess a well-played innings is a good way to put it. But our condolences again to his, family, friends, bandmates, or everyone that knew him. It's going to be a big hole to leave, I'm imagining. So best wishes to all in effect there. So if you're here, let us know in the comments what your favorite song from the Rolling Stones is. Let's get a few things going in that regard to have a bit of a celebration of the music involved that he left behind for us all here. So I've got a few comments jumping around there in the background as always. So going before I'll keep going actually. We'll get back to the comments in a second. The next one we want to get to is a bit of a lighter one, I would imagine. And that is to do with, what's his name? Spencer Eldon is suing because he claims the image of him on the Nirvana's Nevermind cover the consent was never formally granted, and he's suing now for, I think it's $150,000, which is a really interesting development in things, especially considering he's reenacted the photo himself. So I'm not quite sure he's got much to stand on, but I'm not a lawyer, so there we go. What do you make of all this, Dave? We've had a lot of fun in the chat bouncing this back and forth amongst ourselves.
There's
What do you want
so
to
many memes already going around of other album covers that might be objectionable. It's fun to laugh about. The 150,000 isn't that much, considering
it's
what
not.
people have sued before. It's a bit odd. But you know, if an album cover like that dropped these days, it would have been cancelled before it was even released.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, but you know, back in the day, it was perfectly fine, and he's made a career off being the guy from the Nevermind album. So I think the timing's odd. I think he's probably run into some financial difficulty and thought he could get a quick buck. But on the other hand, if there wasn't any royalties when he consent, so maybe he is entitled to a little bit of compensation, and 150,000 really isn't that much. So maybe there could be a little bit of weight to what he's saying. But once again, you know, it's like 30 years is a very long time. If he had a problem with it, I'm sure he would have worked something out a lot sooner.
You'd think so.
Yeah, that's the one. You know, like, okay, he might have a point, but 30 years, that's a hell of a long time.
Yeah, I think for me the hardest part to get my head around is that he's actually reenacted it before, and there's stories of him kicking around. He's done it more than once too. He's reenacted it a few times. He there's more comments coming through here. I'll get to those. I will get to those in a second. But for me, it was really interesting that the whole thing is just odd because one, you said the timing, but also because he's reenacted it more than once. He's even offered in the past to do the photo naked, but the photographer turned him down, saying, no, that'd be a bit too weird. So it's just sort of like, you know, and at the end of the day, no one would have really known who this kid was, I don't think, unless he put his name out there himself. I don't get the impression his parents spent the entire time going, look, our kid is the one that was on the cover of Nevermind. I don't know, but I don't imagine it. And Nirvana sure as hell didn't go making a big song and dance about it in the years that I was following them. So maybe they did, but I don't know. I never knew that much about it. This is the first I've ever seen the guy's name brought up in the real world. And so that to me says, okay, how much damage can be done if you're the one that's been propagating it yourself? Which is a bit of an interesting, I don't know, but that is what it comes across to me reading from the outside, looking in through the looking glass of it all. It's very, 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 very odd. And the timing is strange. And for such a small amount, considering how much damage he's trying to say has been done, you know, and consent not being given and stuff, it's bizarre. I don't quite understand it all myself. I don't think it'll go very far. I have a very limited understanding of the law and especially American law, but I don't think there's much of a chance for him. Could be wrong. It is America after all. Maybe they'll just give him some money just because they can, which is not a bad thing either. I think resorting to a lawsuit in this context is a bit of an odd move, but okay, well, good luck. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. All right, let's quickly. I'll go to the comments quickly because then we'll get to the final one of the hard rock happenings. Got some questions here about what do we got? So someone asked, why did Dave Ellison get the bullet from Megadeth? And that's been answered in the questions. So we don't need to go over that. We've covered that one extensively in the past. Gary jumped in and said, hi, guys. Good to see you here, Gary. In case you didn't know Steve, when you were talking before, he was basically wanking off to a chick who was barely legal age. So that's why he got the ass from it. Tony says, hey, guys, so good to have you here with us. Loved the Channel 31 episode music special last night. Some great stuff, and I've got some new stuff for the playlist now. Thanks. Glad you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for us. Doesn't take long to do those ones, but we thought it was something different to do for the special for this month. So hopefully I'm glad you enjoyed it. What do we got here? Sally, agree with Tony written above. Great show last night. Good one. Brown Sugar is her standout for the Rolling Stones. This is awesome. Steve says Tumble and Die, so you're getting some good choices coming through there. And Dean also said all recordings the Stone did, Charlie was there behind them, keeping it together. Such an inspiration, and sad to see now the Stones starting to fall. Yeah, that's true, unfortunately. Regarding the lawsuit, Steve goes, why doesn't he sue his parents? Only in America. Another response here, that guy wanted money, in my opinion. What an iconic cover, regardless if you love Nirvana or not. It's a joke and sad he wanted to sue them. This is the next one here, which has been brought up in our chat behind the scenes too. Wonder if the girl on Scorpion's Virgin Killer will get in on the action. That has been brought up behind the scenes for us here, so you're not the only one there. Ben has put Gimme Shelter as the Stones song of choice. That is fucking cracking song, that one. David said that his lawyer said that the photo of him recreating the cover made his claim null and void. So, well, there you go. Ben also chimed in with saying that album cover sucks. Nirvana should sue him. So, and Dean said, "Give me Shelter, Painted Black, Honky Tonk Woman, Jumping Jack Flash. I can't get no satisfaction," just to name a few. So yes, keep them coming, folks. We do it, but there's a great collection of songs there to go through. And David also said, "Or the Van Halen baby, maybe, but maybe he could have kicked the Nirvana baby's ass." And I would probably say that's probably the case, to be honest. So there we go. Do like a weird spin-off show of the babies battling each other, like that clay MTV deathmatch thing that was on for a while ago. But anyway, our final article of conversation for the Hard Rock Happening is, since we started doing these ones, Iron Maiden dropped their second single off the upcoming album, which is called Strategio. And we just wanted to quickly just touch on that and give our thoughts on that song and the other one as well. And just basically, are we looking forward to the new stuff coming out? So, Dave, are you excited for the new album? Are the singles making you keen?
Yeah, I am. Writing on the Wall was pretty cool, and Strategio was pretty cool. I think I like Strategio better than Writing on the Wall, but there's enough there for me to be.
Maiden, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's got that gallop back. I mean, it didn't do as much in the last couple albums, but yeah. It's not as fast as they used to be, but you don't really need that when you got the melodies that they always put into this music. Yeah. It's still very much Maiden, but it's got new textures and new layers to it, which is interesting. I don't want the same Maiden album again and again. So the two ones that they've done so far has made me keen to give this double disc a very good listen multiple times, because I'm probably going to go old school. Well, probably not, because I'd like to go buy the CD, but we're in lockdown and I can't. So maybe I'll click and collect it if possible, because I'd like to give it a listen on physical copy rather than on Spotify. So maybe if I can swing that with JB and they're doing click and collect, I'll do that. But yeah, I'm really keen. From what I've heard, it's probably not going to be on the same level as Halloween's album that they released, but that was fucking great. They set the bar really high.
That's a hard one to top from a classic band. That's up there this year.
Yeah. As far as a Maiden album goes, I mean, it could be on par with what they've done in recent years. I know fans are divided over what they've been doing, but I've stayed the course for a very long time, and I like Book of Shadows. I thought that was cool. So I'm very keen for this new album.
I actually feel more positive about this one than I do in hindsight about Book of Shadows. I think that the hype has been done really well for it. The songs are good. I like them both. I like how the writing on the wall is a bit different, got that bit of a twang going on, and then you've got, Strategio being much more what you want and expect from Maiden. And I think when I was listening to them both, because I put the two songs on repeat over and over again, I think what's going to be cool to listen to it when the album's out is the context of where they fit in the album. So listening to it as a part of the full package, because I don't think Iron Maiden need to write singles anymore. So you're not going to get Number of the Beast, and that they don't need those sorts of songs to really get your attention. They write things much more of in the novel format, I would imagine, like as a way to put it. And so I think that these songs will fit their place on the record much better than they will individually on their own, which is that's what I'm looking forward to with it all. I'm keen for the album. I really do. I like the songs, both of them. We've had some chat behind the scenes ourselves. Not all of us are completely enamored with them. Some of us aren't that keen on them. But you and I'm very happy with them so far, and I'm looking forward to the new album. It's not far away now, so I'm sure we'll chat about it in more depth then. But I'm happy with it. The other interesting comment that came from our Facebook group, The Lounge, that someone said that they apparently have different mixes on different platforms and that, which is a lot of effort to go to as a way to try and push people to buying the physical copy. Not completely convinced. I think it's got a lot more to do with how you're listening to it. But I might be wrong on that one. It could be, I mean, they put a lot of effort in behind the scenes, but I would find it odd that they would put different mixes on different platforms. That's a deep, deep theory to dive into on that one there. So I don't know, but I'm keen on them. I like them. I think the video for Riding the Wall was pretty well done as well. Yeah, cool. There was a different take on things too. And the whole album, the concept, Senjutsu and all that sort of stuff, the whole thing is very different from this band. They haven't really gone into the Oriental side of things with anything they've done in the past. So it'd be cool to see where they take it all. So I don't know. They've got enough runs on the board to at least give them a fair crack, and I like the song, so I'm keen for the album. So bring it on. I don't think it'll top Halloween, though. That's fucking good luck when it comes to the classic band stuff. But I think what this will have is the same impact that AC/DC's album had the other year, when that came out. The diehards will all come out, and it'll like I have a funny feeling when we do our polling for the audience choice top 10 at the end of the year, it'll go very, very well. I just have a funny feeling about that in advance because that's how these things usually play out. We got one comment from Dean on that one. It says, I don't mind both songs from Maiden. Great to see them still going, as they can hang it up anytime they want to. Got nothing left to prove. Can't wait for the album. And that's the thing too. It's important to note this band has nothing to prove. So they're writing songs for themselves now. So I reckon in the context of the album, that's why I think it'll make more sense. Alrighty, time for another this is brand new thing, something we've never done on the broadcast or anything we've ever over the years. This is something completely new. This is a little concept we've come up with behind the scenes called Overrated, Underrated. Now, the concept itself is not entirely original or new. A lot of people do Overrated, Underrated when it comes to sports and everything else in between. But the concept here is that we give basically a topic to discuss, and we come in with our opinion about if it's overrated, if they're underrated, or if it's about properly, about right kind of thing. So it's, the whole Goldilocks thing where it's too hot, too cold, or just right in the middle kind of a thing. So the topic we're going to talk about in this week is meet and greets, because it's been ironic in the context of Paul Stanley getting COVID after doing meet and greets with fans. I'm not sure where it came from, but there are photos of them doing it behind perspex screens and things like that. So we figured we'd ask the question, because it has come up before, meet and greets. Overrated or underrated or about right, Dave? So where do you land on it?
For me, I think it's just right.
Okay.
I've heard both sides of the argument. And, if you're walking down the street and you run into your favorite musician and you get an autograph and have a chat, that's an awesome experience. That's cool. Or if you've got the time to hang out outside hotels or airports to hopefully snag an autograph in a couple of minutes, that's cool too. If you don't have time and you're too busy and you have the money and you want to buy a guarantee of getting to meet the person that you want, then I think that's completely up to the fans. And I know some of them can be really expensive, but, the bands that charge a lot have probably earned that level, and you don't undervalue yourself. So, the bands that have been around for decades and decades and are still selling out arenas, if fans want to meet them and they're happy to pay the money for that, I can't. I don't have the money. I'd love to meet Alice Cooper. And I know he doesn't charge all that much, but I used to work with a guy who did do a meet and greet. And man, he's telling me all these stories about, Alice, nice guy, signing everything and just hanging out with his band and his daughter. And it's like, dude, shut up. Keep telling me stuff. But I met Tom Morello once. I was getting a lift from a friend who was at the Tote, and Tom Morello was doing a acoustic set there. Did his encore, put his acoustic guitar down on the stage, and left by the side door, shook a whole bunch of our hands, and walked off down the street. And we're like, that's fucking Tom Morello. He just shook everyone's hands and walked off down the street. Well, shit, that's cool. And I'm not even a big Rage Against the Machine fan. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, experiences like that are pretty cool. But I'm not even a massive fan. And I thought, hey, I met a celebrity. That's cool. But if I was a massive fan and I had the money, I don't really have a problem with it. It's up to the fans and what they want to do.
Cool. So about properly rated for you then? Yeah,
right in the middle.
All right. Well, I'm going to come in with a hot take and say they're grossly overrated. Grossly overrated. Now, bear in mind that I say this is someone that has met a few, having the chance to do interviews over the years, face-to-face, had some good ones. But I do think that from a fan's perspective, completely overrated. I think that they cost way too much. I think that you get treated more or less like cattle when you go in there to do these things. So it's, you go in there, you have your 5 minutes and you take your photo and it's just move on to the next one. Don't spend too long. It's always chaperoned and all this sort of stuff. Now, I think that what is better bang for buck, and I think we should see more of this now with the advent of things like Cameo. I think those are better. Personalized messages from stars that you love to a fan of theirs is a much more personal touch to do things. And I think that with the advent of what's going on with COVID, this stuff that we're doing right here is the better way to do things. I think if you're going to charge someone $1,000 for your time, it's better to give them an hour of your time like this than it is to have them go through, because you can record this stuff and send it to them as a recording, and then there's a memory for them for all time. So if everyone wants to pitch in and book this guy or girl, this person they love, get some time with them, and that sort of stuff is, you can work out your hourly rate and then go from there. I think that those sorts of things are better experiences. I think that the days of like the random experiences you're talking about, they're cool because they're completely unexpected. But if you want to pay that much money, I think I'd rather see people doing things like this where it's actual one-to-one engagement and you actually get some time with the person that you really want to talk to. I think that's a better way of doing things. I like to see more of that. I think that the old school meet and greets don't really do it for me anymore. I think that they should become a thing of the past, personally. So there we go. That's it. Different points of view on that. It's cool that you came in about right. I didn't know where we'd go with this one. We haven't done this one before. So we've got some comments here as well. So what do we got? Tim, our good friend Tim Caterson, he's jumped in saying, "Hi guys, so good to see you here, mate." He's gone, meet and greets are fine if they're not overpriced, and that's the sticking point there, and that's hard to value. Steve said it's cool, but at $1,000 per head, are you fucking kidding? Ripping off the diehards is pathetic, and that's a fair point there too. Sumaleth on YouTube has just given us the horn, so good to see you here, mate. Thanks for joining us once again. Nude says, depends on the cost and how long you get. Pay same amount for Ellefson and CJ Ramon. 2 minutes with Ellefson, 1 hour in beers with CJ, and that's where I think that the experience is more important than how you do it, if that makes sense. I think the more engaged you are is where I get into it as well. What do we got here? Fuck, hang on. I'll get to that one. But Keith says, acoustic Tom Morello, does he have a whammy pedal in his set? That would be interesting as well. Sumalek jumped into saying the Hard Rock Show on Cameo when. Now, that is something we've not even joked about. We've joked about OnlyFans. We haven't joked about Cameo. That would be bizarre. But, hey, if people want it, I don't think we need Cameo to do it. We'll work out something. Dean said, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to see your favorite artist for a meet and greet is ridiculous. Overrated for me, especially when it costs thousands to meet them. So here we go. What do we got here? Sally says, I watched the Eddie Trunk guy's podcast at meet and greets where he's swearing that most bands hate doing it, gave heaps of examples, freaked me out. James Hetfield doesn't do them at all anymore because they never work out the way they should and upset for the fans. And this is where I think that, this sort of setting, because people are in their own home, I just think it's better value overall. Ben saying Andrew for Premier, probably not anytime soon, I'll tell you that right now. Nicole is saying howdy all. So good to have you here on YouTube with us as well. And Andrew Marshall, a good friend of ours, good to see you here, jumping in on YouTube as well. He's gone, I think a lot of fans are like Dave and me and just can't afford them, overrated. So there we go. So I think that, money is tighter. I think time is the more valuable resource. And if you can give it a time and it costs a bit less, I think that's the way to do it going forward. But hey, keep the comments coming. Let us know what you think as we move on to our first review of the night. But I think that was fun there, Dave. I think that'll be a bit of a keeper, something different there to do. All righty. Let's do our first review. Local band up first tonight. So in the comments and in the description, check out the link for the band is Frozen Tears. The song is Brazen Whisper, which is also the title of the album or EP, depending on how you look at it. So, that's your reference track. The band is Frozen Tears. The song is Brazen Whisper. That is the reference track for the review we're doing now. So, our opening review tonight is Frozen Tears, Brazen Whisper. 7 tracks for 31 minutes. The second album or EP from the Australian band, released August 2021 by MR Records. Recorded at Project 33 Studios in Melbourne. Mixed and mastered by Ty Sims at Recovery Room in Arkansas. No singles appear to have been released so far. This has 6 new tracks on it, along with a cover of Come On and Love Me from Kiss. This is also the band's first release of new music since 1997. And Dave, you got the message about this one. So how did this one come to us? And then give us your thoughts on the album.
Yeah, Facebook friend messaged me and said, hey, got an EP coming up. Will you guys be interested? And I'm like, absolutely. He sent me a track and heard. I thought, this is right up my alley. As soon as you did the introduction, you mentioned the song Brazen Whisper, just that intro. Vocal, you can just hear it. Very, very catchy stuff. Right from the opening track, you can tell you're in melodic rock territory, and it's done very well. These songs just easily get stuck in your head. Really catchy choruses. Production is really nice. Everything is all sits together really well. That helps to heighten the songwriting and the performances. Guitars sound fucking great. I'm always drawn to the guitar, and the tone is awesome, and the solos really suit the songs, and they're really well played. Especially the solo on the song You. I thought that was very cool. Yeah. Great use of keyboards as well to fill out the sound. I thought that was really nice. And guitarist John Power, I think he also does the keys in this. And he also did the keyboards for Dangerous Curve's song The Good and the Bad. So a little bit of local trivia. And that's a fucking good song too.
I have a
This
feeling he was also involved in the Darren Phillips project. I think that was the
think
case.
he was, yeah. And knowing Darren Phillips and stuff, I think there's a suit very well.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound dated at all, but it takes me back to the good old days of classic rock from the 80s. And I could hear some of these songs being used in Cobra Kai. Just that's the way my mind works.
You've got that on the brain so bad because you know the new season's coming at the end of the year.
I know, and I haven't really been annoying people on Facebook that much. So I got to get back into it. Got to do better. Yeah, even that show is like bringing everything that was cool about the past into the modern world and making it cool again. And music like this is just stuff I grew up hearing, and it's never really disappeared. But you just love hearing something come along and remind you, and still sound fresh and new, which is cool. Great fun listening from start to finish. There's different moods throughout, and in a half-hour long EP or short album, whatever you want to call it, you got songs like "Love Can Be Real," and it's followed up with "Set Me Free," and like massive shift in mood, but just works really well. Very cool. I'd love to hear more from this band. It's my first time listening to them. I have to check out a couple of their older things on Spotify, and hopefully they release some more stuff soon. Nice to close the album with the classic Kiss song. That's really well done. It's been a long time.
You thought the cover was good because you're the bigger Kiss fan out of the two of us. You enjoyed the cover.
Yeah, I thought it was faithful to the original, and they put their own spin on it, which was pretty cool. Go 8.5 out of 10. Brazen, Whisper, You, and Love Can Be Real. Where they stand out.
Cool. Quickly here, there are other comments. I'll get to other comments in a second. But John Powers just jumped in to say, "Hey guys, thanks for joining us, and thanks for sending the music into us as well." Basically, when it comes to this one, if you like melodic rock or AOR, this is going to be right up your alley. If that's not your preferred genre, this isn't going to be for you. Just to be upfront about that. It's glossy as you expect with this sort of stuff. There's a fair layer of polish, but there's still enough grunt on this, which is really cool. I liked how the tones on this had a bit of meat to them. This wasn't really over-the-top polish. Like when you get things like other local bands like White Widow, for example, they go really heavy on the gloss and the keys. This one had some nice push and pull and some nice grunt in the tones, which is really, really cool. Catchy stuff, well-written hooks on this one. These songs get stuck in your head really, really easy. But I also enjoyed the guitar work on this. So the vocals and lyrics, and they do their thing, but the flash provided by the lead guitar breaks was really nicely done on these songs. I think if you want to hear the track, that's why I chose Brazen Whisper as the opening track. It's the title track, and that's the best example of what I'm talking about. If you like that song, check out this release because you're going to enjoy it. I thought the synth was nicely done. Like I was saying, it pushed and pulled on this one. It didn't become overpowering at any stage. Everything was done with enough space for the vocals to cut through nicely, which is a good job on that one. And like the way things between the vocals, the synth, and the keys, and the guitar all bounced around and pushed and pulled was really nice. But also under that, you had the bass and the drums really anchoring it all down, just consistently there the whole way through. So the production was really well thought out, very well done. And there was a few little things in this one too. The use of little effects here and there, really subtly done. Layering of different tones from the keys. It wasn't just the one thing from the keys on this one. There was also an acoustic moment in this too. There's a lot of diversity going on with these songs and the way it played out, and it made the thing fly by nicely. Lyrically, it's not it's a little bit more on the heartfelt side of things, which is what you get from this style of music, but not over the top either. There's like with the guitar being a bit more grunty, there's a bit more of that in the lyrics for this one too, which is nice. And it's funny that you're talking about the 80s and the throwback because this has that 80s bit in a nice way. The track Set Me Free has a lot of the funk from that era and is a good sort of way to break things up, but also like the acoustic flamenco moment in Can't Stop Loving You. That as the last original track on this really to close things out nicely. I think that for me that it's a weird one because there's a slightly pitchy moment in Hold On Tight, which is just, it stands out. It's not a bad thing at all, but it stands out because it's the one sort of weak spot on the release for mine. And it would have just been, if they'd just added a little more reverb to it, it would have disguised it and probably gotten away with it. It just quite crept through. I don't know if you picked up on that at all, Dave, but because I did no? Okay. So I'm coming from the background of production and vocals. So I've done these things before, so I can hear it straight away. And when it's just that, like not even a semitone, it's like a quarter tone off. It's just that little bit. And that's where a little bit of reverb would just have smoothed it off and would barely be noticeable. But that's me being picky. That shows you how, how anal I am about certain things, but that doesn't take anything away from the listen. It's a small moment here that doesn't, like I said, it's a very small critique. I think the cover was done pretty well, a good way to close it out. And if you like melodic rock, check it out. This is a pretty good, fun little album. I think that it's one of those ones where if you're a fan of the genre, it'll certainly do more than enough to make you happy. And if you're not a fan of the genre, won't do anything to change your mind. But that's all good because they're doing what they love to do. And for another release, the first since 97, this is pretty well done. And hopefully it doesn't take the same amount of time to get another one out from these guys all, because there's a lot to work with. So it's really good. Well done. Solid album. Some nice high spots in this and it flies by. 8 out of 10 from me. Brazen Whisper, Set Me Free, and Can't Stop my standout tracks on this one. Got some comments here too. So Laura Bennett's jumped in to say Frozen Tears absolutely rock. So there we go. Good to have you here with us and glad you enjoy the music. Angelo Paponis jumped in on Facebook, say, hey guys. So good to have you here with us as well. Going back onto the meet and greet stuff, David said, met Ace and that cost me $420 and Black Label Society cost me $120 and the Black Label was a better experience. So there you go too. There's no equation. I don't think dollars versus
depends on the artist.
Yeah, it does. In a reply, John said, I'll be in a nursing home if we wait another 27 years to do another album. So, yeah, let's not wait another 27 years. That'd be a good thing. And Laura there is saying John is an amazing musician. So there we go. Lots of credit all around. No, well done, John, and thanks for sending it in to us. And well done on the, I think the tribute show is the one you're attached to as well on community television. So keep doing the good things you're doing there as well. And congrats to you guys on the nomination for the Antenna Awards too. So we'll all find out in due course how that all plays out for us all. But no, well done all around. Good thing to check out. And thanks for sending it through to us. There we go. He's gone, pleasure, guys, and yes, I am. So there we go. Good. Good to know I'm not not getting things wrong when I'm trying to do it all at the back of my head here somewhere. There's a lot of information to take in. Thanks, mate. And you too. Yes, most welcome. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, here we go. Laura's already dropping the goods for us. I believe Frozen Tears have another album in the making. Okay, cool. All right. Keep us in the loop. We are going to move on. We're going to completely change gears because if you haven't been watching for a while, this is what we do. We go from one extreme to another, and this is going to fucking really test what people like when it comes to what we do here. So the next one is a little band called Jinjer, and the song is Wallflower. So we're putting a link in the comments now. The link is also in the description of the post where you're tuning in from. So your reference track for our next review is Jinjer Wallflower. It's a video that was dropped about 3 days ago, I think, as we do this one now. And here we go. So this is Jinjer with Wallflowers, 11 tracks, 47 minutes, the fourth studio album from the Ukrainian band released August 2021 by Napalm Records. Produced by Max Morton, 3 singles been released, including Vortex and Mediator. We've been aware of the band, especially since they did a Live in Melbourne album, which they released in 2020. We've never really covered them until now, and there's been some Sally and Tim in particular that we know well were keen to check this out. So we figured, well, here's a good week to do so. Dave, how did you go with this? This is much less up your alley, I think, than the previous one.
I used to work with this American guy, and he was a metalhead. And, we both worked at Big W. We both got the arse at the same time. But we kept in contact, and he's messaged me all these videos occasionally. He's like, man, you got to check out this band, Jinjer. I fucking love them. So he sent me this video. I'm like, okay. They're okay. Yeah, okay. And, he's like, they're fucking great. I'm like, they're okay. And I've never been able to get into them. I don't know what I'm missing. So going into hearing a full album, I'm just like, okay, I'm hoping I'm going to pick up what I've been missing. What's this missing piece that makes this band makes my mate lose his shit over this band. And I didn't find it. I did not find it. It's very, very hard to listen to. Everything is well performed. The musicianship is impressive. It's just their songs don't do all that much for me. And I imagine this is how people feel when I'm banging on about Dream Theater. And they don't get it.
That's actually probably a fair point.
Because, there's a lot of complexity to this music, a lot of prog elements, a lot of time shifts, a lot of odd beats, and I should love shit like this. But in this case, it just doesn't get me at all. It just gets a little bit too monotonous very quickly. It's like I'm listening to the same song over and over. The band, everyone in the band can certainly play. They can write very complex stuff. It's all performed very well. The vocalists have a fucking amazing voice. She can do I think she's doing all the growls as well. She's doing the harsh vocals.
Yeah, she is.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty fucking impressive.
Fucking amazing. Yep.
But ultimately, it just comes down to taste, and just the songs didn't grab me at all. So I didn't hate it, didn't love it. I just give it 6 out of 10, and don't think it's stand out.
Okay. See, this is a band that I think you bang on because we got some comments and I get to them as well. But this is a band that people either love or ignore. I don't think this is a band that has middle ground. I don't think anyone hates them. I think they just go, it doesn't grab me, and they ignore it. It's not one of those ones that people get really divisive about. They don't hate them. It's just they either love it or they just forget about it. And I kind of get why that is the case, but at the same time, I fully understand why people really do enjoy this one because it is a bit different. It's a bit unique. They're doing something that not a lot of people do. And this is really, really fucking intense. And that's the part of this whole album that really stands out for me. It's blast beat driven. There's some nice groove in this one too, though. But I think that the contrast between the growling vocals and these really melodic interludes that are really spaced out is really, it's challenging to listen to. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's meant to challenge what you think of when it comes to what you enjoy. And, you know, it's either going to suck you in straight away or you're going to sit there and go, I don't get it. And that's where I think it because there's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde element all the way through this one, from the songs, the song structures, the way they flow, the way the album flows. It's intense but beautiful at the same time. And it's just this really interesting comment, observation on the whole thing, that they've got a track here called Pearls and Swine. And that's kind of what I think sums up how this is all, because you got the growling, which is, you know, the swine in the pit, and as you can hear the aggression and the noise and the grunt. But then you got the pearls, which is where Tatiana's just off soaring vocally, and there's great harmonies in it, and there's a real beauty and the space, because when the growling's going on, it's really pounding in your face, blast beat stuff, and then when they go to the clean vocal, they open things right up, and it's really spacious, great tones, great layering. The production is phenomenal on this one. To capture all this the way it's been done, for how intense this is and how melodic and beautiful it is at the same time, is really hard and challenging to do, and they fucking nailed it. But I also liked how they had this a bit of a raw edge to it all as well. They didn't overproduce this in any way, shape, or form. When it really kicks in, it's almost got a semi-live vibe to it, and it just makes you feel like you know this band are on when they play. And if you watch live videos, you certainly see that. I think I've got to give a special nod to Tatiana, because she does the growl, she does the clean vocals, and her intensity is what's really going to suck you. If it grabs you, it's her vocal that's going to get you. She's not shy of something to say. She's like really good on the lyrics, and like the track As I Boil Ice really, really is an intense song to listen to. One of my favorites on this one, and the storytelling in that is pretty well done too. I find this one interesting in that because it is so intense, I did find that it felt longer to listen to than it actually is. If you put this up against another 45 or so minute long album, this does feel longer. It's not one that you'll put on over and over on repeat, but it is one that you'll pull out now and then to give you something different. It's one of those ones where, I don't know, for me, not one of those ones I put on all the time, but now that I've given myself a full album, it's like, okay, I'm curious. I want to go and check out some more. Sorry, I'm just, because the comments pop up and I just see little things out of the corner of my eyes, like, what the fuck? And I'll get to it in a second. But no, this is pretty cool. It's like you said, it's technical and progressive in elements as well. So there's a lot more to this than you might think. But if you want something that lurches from one extreme to the other, then this is for you. If you don't want that, then this is not going to do anything for you. But I think that because of the way it's done, the lyrics, the melodies, that when they do come in, this might be a little bit more accessible than you think. So if the hearing of the growling, that might put you off, try and check it out, though, because this might have some little hooks in this that might catch you by surprise. It is an interesting listen at all. 8 out of 10 from me. I did enjoy it. I picked Wallflower, As I Boil Ice, and Mediator as my standout tracks on this one. All right. Comments here we go. Going back to the meet and greet stuff, sometimes from Steve, sometimes the meet and greet supplement the budget tours that come in, apart from merch, of course. I agree with that, but I think that can be probably more easily supplemented by artists doing this at a different hourly rate kind of a thing. I think there's a way to do that. What do we got? So Sumaleth jumped in saying, I pre-ordered the Jinjer album, can't wait to get it. And he also, I love Dream Theater too. So, there we go. Steve said Jinjer are a great band, but Benjamin says it's Arch Enemy all over again and cliche. So this is where we're going to get this one of those bands that are going to be interesting to take in for people's opinions. Suma, let's say, Jinjer is a brutal Faith No More, and that's probably, I think if you think of
Actually,
Faith No More crossed with Slipknot, for me, with a female vocal. Faith No More meets Slipknot, female vocal. That's kind of where this one sits for me. What do we got here? So Sally's gone, watched Wallflower 4 times. Best clip I've seen in years. The opening, just black and white aside from the bright red of the toolbox. Remembrance of poppies and then guns killing everyone at her front door. Her voice, the lyrics are very, very cool. Okay, and she actually wrote, this is what made me laugh before, because she actually wrote puppies in a big thing and then corrected herself to poppies, not puppies. And that's where, that's where I got a chuckle out of it all. Nicole says she struggles with Jinjer, and I don't blame anyone that struggles with it either. I completely see both sides of the argument. And Benjamin's come back. He's backpedaling a bit. It's not terrible. I prefer Arch Enemy though. So there we go. And Steve with the Stones reference. It's only rock and roll. So there we go. Alrighty, we have. And speaking of rock and roll, our main event for this week is definitely going to cover that off for people here tonight. It's a shame that Tim's not here to do this one because he called this band Dad Rock last time we did a review. And Brendan and I were like, well, fuck you, whippersnapper. So here's the headline act for this week. So in the comments, in the description, all sort of stuff. I will get back to the other comments in a moment. But the reference track and the artist. So the artist is Danko Jones. The reference track is Ship of Lies, which I think the video was released a matter of days ago, or if not today, as we do this one. And so, yeah, just quickly back to the comments before I do move on. Sumila said, strangely, I couldn't get into Arch Enemy. So another band as well that I do understand that side of things too. But anyway, moving on. Danko Jones is the band. The reference track is Ship of Lies. So check that out. It's in the comments. It's in the description of the post, wherever you're tuning in from. So go and check it out. Make sure you give us your thoughts. Even if you're not tuning in live, check it out later on and give us your thoughts when you get up to that part of it. But we're going to move on to our headline event or headline main event of the evening, which is Danko Jones, Power Trio, 11 tracks, 38 minutes, the 10th studio from the Canadian band, released August 2021 via Mate in Germany. Produced by Eric Ratz, 4 singles have been released, including I Want Out and Flaunt It. The band have been around for 25 years now, and we wanted to give this one a run through, especially seeing how the last review went, which I just referenced before. So, Dave, have you reviewed Danko Jones with us before?
No, I haven't actually heard them before this album.
All right. How did you go? Because I want to hear what you thought.
The amount of reviews that we do for this show and that I've done over the past few years, where I start off along the lines of saying, I've known this band for a long time. I finally get to listen to them and I have to unfuck not listening to them because I have to go and backtrack and hear all their previous catalog. Because if the previous catalog,
if you like this, check out the catalog. Yep.
Yeah. If the rest of their stuff is as good as this, they got some fucking great music. Hard hitting, high energy rock and roll done very well. If you didn't guess by the album title, Power Trio, they're a 3-piece, and it's certainly a fitting title because they've got a hell of a lot of energy in these songs. It's got a lot of the classic rock elements, but it still manages to sound very fresh. They're not reinventing the wheel or anything. They're just focusing on running really good fucking songs. Nice use of space in the compositions as well. The song Saturday, they just let this chord ring, and then the singer does the verse over it, and then they kick in with that powerful riff again. Like that is very cool dynamics to songwriting. The solos are fucking great. The drums also get a chance to shine. There's that small moment at the start of Blue Jean Denim Jumpsuit. That's a mouthful. Yeah. There's a little drum bit. That was cool. Doesn't have to be like a spotlight, but everybody just gets their little place. You know, it's got the rock and roll swagger. It rocks, it swings, it grooves. It's got balls, and it's just a fucking fun listen. Such great songwriting. I gave this a couple of spins, and I could look over the track listing. It's like, that's that song, that's this one. They all just get stuck in your head. And it's really, really hard to pick standouts. When I was finalizing the review, I was listening to the album again. I'm writing down songs. I realized I've just written out the first 5 songs. I could pretty much say anything on this album as a standout. But so I'll just give it 9 out of 10, and I'll say listen to it because every song is a banger. There's no dud tracks on here at all. It's fantastic.
Cool. All right. Sorry, I just got a weird notification pop up. It's like, okay, I don't know what to do with that. Sorry. No, completely sidetracked me now, but I'm glad you really did enjoy them because I fucking loved it as well. This was with this band because we did that review with Tim and Brendan, I think it was just us 3. And I went back and when I was doing a lot of more driving work, I was listening. I made a process where I was starting to go through this band's discography, one album after the other one. and they're just so consistent. This album is, if you know this band, you know what you're getting. If you don't know this band, think of high energy, fun, party rock. This is the perfect rock album to put on at a party. This is just so much fun. And it's not in the Steel Panther way where it's, silly, stupid fun. This is just really upbeat. What's slightly different about this one compared to other Danko Jones releases is that it's more observational, but in the context of what's going on in the last few years in the world, he hasn't allowed it to be a negative thing in this one. If you follow him on social, he's very outspoken with his opinions, and he'll say what he thinks, and he'll call out people and beat them down vocally and stuff. But he doesn't let anything get him down. So it's about his whole twist, or their whole twist on things, is to basically take in the world and then spin it into a positive. And so that's why you got songs like "Don't Let Them Get to You," like that. That is a really cool anthem on this album that kind of sums up what he's sort of talking about. So there's fun stuff, there's party stuff, there's all about girls and having a good time, but there's also some other stuff going in there which has don't let things get to you and all that sort of stuff too. So there's a bit more to this than you might get on your first pass listening to it, but it's well worth a deep dive to take the time in and spend, really take this one in properly. It's riff driven rock, heaps of energy, some nice little flashes of the lead work. I did like that one on this one. I thought that, like you were saying, the use of the rhythm section, but also the use of space in the songs, so they let things ring out and they sort of pause for a moment, then come back in for the impact. Incredibly well done. The songwriting is fantastic. Performances are faultless on this one. I love the melody and the lyrics. Like you were saying, how you can go through and you can just hear the songs when you're going through the track order. They're so well written. It just gets in your head straight away. It's really fun stuff that just it's catchy as all fuck, but not in a cheesy way. It's just a lot of fun to take in. No tricks, no frills on this one. It's just straight up rock. It's just heaps of fun. Great groove, tempo, vibe changes keep the album flowing nicely. Not a long listen at all, but it does just really fly by. The energy and the intensity of this makes it really engaging the whole way through. And this is the sort of stuff where if you get a chance to see it live, you're going to have a great fucking time. This is a lot of fun. It just comes across in the record nicely. I'd like to go and see this stuff played live. I like the mix. It's got that. There's some real grit in this one. But I like how it's warm enough to have a bit of fuzz and heat going on with not too much compression, but it just sort of pushes that edge a little bit. They've they've made everything really clear, a bit of crunch in there as well, and it's a perfect for radio kind of sound. It's not over compressed. I've just got it, and the space I've left for the vocal to come through and occupy things is really, really well done as well. Performance is fantastic, like I said before. Good use of the sort of pop hooks on this one to make it perfect for rock radio. They've nailed that formula where everyone bags Nickelback. It'd be hard to have the same critique of Danko Jones because they haven't really fallen into it. They've just made it so it's really fun, easy to get into rock that's not going to put off anyone either. So they've really managed to walk this incredibly fine line that's hard to do, and they've nailed it. The two sides of the coin on this one sort of come into things with the blue jean denim jumpsuit and Get To You as a 1-2 punch on the album is just fucking really good. If you listen to those two songs, that gives you the entire album in a nutshell, basically. But also the closing track, Start the Show. That's a great way to close it out. It makes you really think about, you can't wait for things to open up again, and then we can all go and see this sort of shit. And then opening up with that sort of song would be fucking fantastic. That'd be a perfect show opener, even though it's an album closer on this one. Every so often, you need an album, especially when you do as many albums as we do, that just reminds you just how much fun this stuff is and can be, and just how important it is to have an album or music that makes you feel good and just have fun with it. And this is that album of this year for me. This is a sneaky, sneaky good record. It might scrape into the top 10s because one of those ones where the more you listen to it, the more fun you have. And it's just incredibly infectious. 9 out of 10 for me as well. So I both agreed on that one. I picked Ship of Lies, Get To You, and Start the Show as my standouts on this one. Got some good comments coming through here, I think. So let me get back in a moment. So here we go. Our good friend Tim, he's gone, Danko Jones are awesome. You know what you're going to get with these guys, and it's always good stuff. And yeah, I completely agree with that. If you go and check out the discography, Dave, if you liked this one, you're going to like the quality stuff, definitely. Benjamin agree with you. So he'd never heard of this band either. He'll give it a spin sometimes this week. In the clip, Steve's gone, gee, the devil in that clip is different. Definitely a big fan of Macca's. Fat, special word that I haven't got the dog bark clipped up for this one, so I can't do it. Tim said their 2010 album Below the Belt is my favorite from these guys, but all their albums are good. Nicely done there. Cool. Dean says, great album from Danko. We'll put on again tomorrow. Nice. We're getting some nice comments here. Nicole says good for background music, which is she enjoyed this one more than Jinjer, which is a good start for tonight anyway. So we'll take that as a win. What else we got here? Steve says good song. Helen says sorry coming in late. Still reminiscing the Stones and at night. And Mick insisted signing the underneath of my chair at post supper with the band and entourage at private restaurant in Turek. Wow, that's incredible. The stories that Helen has every time she jumps in is fucking fantastic. So yeah, thanks for sharing that one. And passionate review. Well, we always have those. We are very, very passionate about what we do here. But yeah, that's universally enjoyed. There's no one really against this one, which is good. I would love to have heard Tim give his opinion on this one, our Tim. Because he did call the last one Dad Rock. And he said when I put it up in the lounge, he was going to go and check it out. And so I was like, okay, I wanted to get his thoughts after checking this one out this time around. But hey, didn't get it. Tim, if you tune in, then give us your thoughts whenever you get a chance to, because I would love to just get that side of the coin balanced out on this one. But that is the last of the reviews tonight, which means we're sort of getting toward the end of proceedings. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We're not going to go, we've got the bin to go to and that in a second. But before we get to that, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, comment, share, all the usual things everyone gets you to do. If you want to follow us across our different platforms, please check it out. Everything you need to know is in the description of the post. All the links to follow us are there. And please, while you're there, check out our fantastic sponsors as well. A big thank you to Squid Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. That is, if you can find them, give them a follow. Their links are there as well. It'll be greatly appreciated by us here too. Our next stream will be on Thursday. We're going to be talking about the Bronx Leprous, and we're going to talk about a classic Rolling Stones album as well. Our next special episode is at the end of September now. Got to think about where the fuck we are this year. We're nearly there. It's fucking scary. But yeah, end of September will be another Van Halen revisited, because we did a Van Halen special a few years ago, and Dave and I are the only people left from that time. We've expanded quite substantially since then, and so we wanted to get people to give their thoughts about a year on from the passing of Eddie Van Halen there. What else we got coming up? TV spot. So please check us out on television Thursday nights, Channel 44 in Adelaide, 10:30 p.m. local time, and Saturday nights, 10:30 p.m. Melbourne and Geelong, our local time here. That's when you can check us out on TV. We have 3 more years of it, so please do keep checking us out there. Follow us on Spotify. I've got a few playlists going as well, and there'll be another playlist coming up very soon over this week. Hopefully I'll get that all sorted out. Okay, I'll get to the comments in a second before we do get out of here. What else we got? That's about it, isn't it? That's normally what I sort of wrap things up with. I think that's the usual stuff done and dusted. Oh yeah, on the 18th of September, while I'm thinking of this sort of stuff, we're going to be sitting here because the Antenna Awards are going to go to air that night. We can't obviously go in person and do the whole thing we're going to do. So they're going to be doing a pre-recorded broadcast on Channel 31 or Channel 44, I think, as well. So we're going to be doing that on Saturday, September 18. And what we're going to do is when that's airing on the community television networks, we're going to sit here and do a live stream watch party with everyone. So if you want to join us that Saturday night, then please feel free to do so. Keep following us on social for more information as we get closer to that as well. All right. Steve enjoyed the show, so thank you for tuning in. He's enjoyed it. Gary says, first time watching live on Facebook. Enjoyed the show. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you being here. Good to have some new people. Love that we get that coming in. So glad you enjoyed the show tonight. Nicole said, I wouldn't need to fast forward any songs from Danko, but I wouldn't rock out with headphones to it. No, rocking out with headphones would be kind of challenging. This is one of the ones you want for the speakers blaring in the background. Driving a car to this might be slightly dangerous. Nudes has gone. You came on at 10 on Thursday. I'll find out if it was a once-off or regular change. Let you know. Pretty sure it might have been a once-off, Nudes. We've had a couple of things here and there where they've had different things pushed around. So I would imagine that's a once-off. I think we're back again to 10:30 p.m. on Thursday over there, but we'll see what they do in that regard. And Sally's gone. Great idea, the awards show. Can't wait. Awesome. Good. We look forward to having everyone joining us on those ones here as well. All right, so Helen, this is what made me laugh. Helen's going, can I jump in the bin? I reckon there'd be some good shit in there. The bin is perpetually full, but if you want to try your luck, then by all means, feel free. But speaking of the bin, that is the perfect segue, about as good as we're going to get. So let's move on to the favorite part of the episode, and that is the bin. So Dave, what are you putting in here tonight?
Yeah, I got two.
Oh, okay.
I recently brought myself a new toy, the Boss Effect Protector. That is my old one from like 25 years ago. Fucking love it. Can't fault it. It's fantastic. Right out of the box. Fantastic sounds.
Yep.
In the box is the manual, and it's like 10 pages, and it just covers the bare minimum. You go online and you find the full manual, which is like 30 pages. It gives you
Mm-hmm.
every little in and out. So operating manuals that just basically say, thank you for buying this appliance. Congratulations. In the bin. Because it's
So
not,
this is
it
your old
happens
man
quite
yells
a lot.
loud moment.
And my second one is when you're cooking a barbecue and you run out of gas halfway through. Like, God damn it. You got two
that's
options. Run up to the petrol station or bring everything in and finish it off on the stove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah. Running out of gas in the bin.
All right, cool. Mine's very, very current because for those that are following it, it's the AFL footy season finals happening right now. And Toby Green doing Toby Green things is basically a guarantee that he's going to get himself a final rubbed out in a final series because he's a gun player, but he's got not a lot going on up here. So I'm putting not him in the bin because I expect him to do what he does, but the footy commentary and the good player / good bloke excuse that gets thrown around every fucking time these guys do something stupid like this. Fuck off with it. The guy deliberately made contact with an umpire. That has to go in here, and you can't defend it or protect it or anything like that because it has so many flow-on effects. I'm passionate about this because my old man was an umpire for many, 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 many years, and so I would like to make sure that we protect the umpires at the lower levels because without them, then no one's going to umpire the games later on either. We all complain about the quality of the umpiring. What you need to have is protections put in place for those ones so that they can get better at their skill set. That's not helping you get people like Toby Green doing stupid shit like that. He should be rubbed out for probably weeks, I would say, but I reckon he might get one. But anyway, he is a dickhead, that one. And can we stop with the chatter about, he's a good player, so he should get off? No. Doesn't matter how good you are. That sort of stuff shouldn't be allowed to pass. So I like to get the footy commentary. And in general, the footy commentary sucks because they're all so fucking in-joke bullshit, fucking nonsense, all with a wink and a nod. Fuck off. If the AFL is serious about fucking growing their shit, here's an idea. Follow what the other sports do where it's actually intelligently put to the audience and you might get somewhere with it because, fucking joke. But anyway, that's my bin because it's topical with the footy season coming on and because I can do that shit right now because my team's not there and they're not going to be there for a while anyway. So whatever. That's how it is this time around. What do we got here? We've got a few comments here. So Nicole is saying the new Iron Maiden is soon. So yes, we're all very, very keen for that. Sally jumped in to say woodfire, Dave. So
yeah, got that too.
That's how you get out of the way of running out of gas, which is what Helen's gone into with that as well. Dean's on Toby Green 1 week at least. I all know the rules. The footage. What was funny last night watching was the people slowing it down and going the whole back and to the left thing, and they're fucking watching. And did he make contact? Did he not make contact? No, he made contact. And the second album that came out today was fucking bang, and it's like, yep, that's it. Bye bye. So here we go. Helen's gone in, running out of gas. Jumping jack, flash, gas. There we go. There's a Stones reference there. Nice. Yes, there we go. AFL commentary does suck, especially McAvaney. Well, McAvaney's not there anymore, so that's one less you have to worry about it. And a question for you, Dave. How was the barbecue, or how was the food after the barbecue ran out?
Oh, it was fantastic. Can't complain about that. Just a bit inconvenient in the middle. I'm like, God damn it, I want my burger.
The problem is it'd be weird if you complain about your own cooking because you cook on it, don't you?
Mm.
Yes. You're not going to complain about your own cooking, are you?
Oh, no. Cook the best kind of burgers. Get some bacon, get some eggs, get some
Did Julia and the kids enjoy it as much as you did?
Oh, yeah.
That's the test. If the kids eat it, that's when you know you've done all right.
Oh, the kids loved it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Jason's sitting there, I love bacon.
Here we go. Underrated, overrated bacon. Bacon is permanently underrated.
Yeah, bacon is God.
there's a comment in that one for sure. Alcohol and prayers. There we go. That's what happens when the barbecue runs out. Alcohol and prayers. We'll utilize that one. But that does us for another week or another episode. We're back again on Thursday, and we'll also be back in on TV screens very, very soon. But that'll do us for now. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been great getting the interaction, the comments coming through tonight. So hopefully you've all had a good night with us here. We do appreciate you for joining us. If you're tuning in later on, we appreciate you just as much for taking the time whenever you get a chance to do so. But for now, hang on before Sally's gone. What is it with guys and bacon? Sally, the same thing that occupies guys and bacon is the same thing that occupies guys with a lot of other things in the world. So we'll leave it there.
I grew up watching this piggy. I'm very confused.
Okay, Kermit, we'll leave it there. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Nicole is saying thank you, but thank you for joining us. We'll see you all again very, 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 very soon. Until next time, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
As always,
Drink up.
and rock on.